Are you Professor Bahal?
Yes. There's a phone call at the booth, please. Einen Moment, bitte.
Hello, Bill.
How are you?
Yeah. How long is it since I've seen you?
I'm sorry about all that cops and robbers stuff, yeah?
Yeah, what was all that on the phone?
Well, it is very, very important that no one see us talking together.
Why?
What? I tried to reach you in Paris. For you're even too fast for the CIA.
Does the CIA want me?
Hey, sit down. Well, now.
What?
A Russian physicist whom you know left Kiev a few days ago for East Germany. Now, he's got some very important information that he's willing to peddle to the West.
Who?
Grushenko.
Grushenko?
That's right. The man whose papers you helped translate. He's carrying on him some microfilm that's got the results of the latest Russian space tests. That is the kind of information that could determine who's going to get to the moon first.
Well, you know what I'm interested in? Who gets to Garmisch first? I need some sunshine.
We've got to get somebody into East Germany quickly. We've got to get that information out as soon as possible.
So, how does that affect me?
Well, Grushenko says that the only person to whom he will give that information is you. We happen to know that you are going to Leipzig anyway.
The CIA certainly is on its toes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't so difficult to find out. We also happen to know that you plan to take in the Karl Marx University and the Dresden Museum.
Yes, and that's all I'm taking in.
And you're being an art expert as well as a physicist. Now, that is a very good couple.
Adams, forget it.
You've got to do it.
What do you mean I've got to?
You've got to.
Why?
Yeah. As a physicist, your research has always been underwritten by the government. Now, suppose in my next report I mention that you refuse to help us. No, not refuse to spy, but merely refuse to help. They would never give you another research grant.
You trying to blackmail? I can get more grants than I could use. Adam, why did you try getting him out of East Germany? Get him into the West.
Oh, no, we don't want him to defect. No, that would cause too many problems. We're not interested in Grushenko, just in the information he has. Anyway, we'd prefer to have important men like Grushenko stay right in their own country, right where they are, become part of a discontented minority.
That's no small thing that you're asking, is it?
No. If you're caught, you'll probably be arrested as a spy. You'll be on your own. Now, as one of the country's top physicists, they probably won't kill you. Well, they might, but I doubt it. But they may try to bribe you. They may try to break you down. There's no glory in it. No reward.
And no danger.
Jim, if there had been anybody else to do this job, I never would have approached you. But there isn't. When you get to Leipzig, you're to get in touch with a Dr. Salzer, but you're not to go directly to him. You've got to begin to be a devious man.
Going to Berlin?
No, Leipzig.
Do you have any weapons or DDR currency?
No.
Please report to the visa control office.
Danke.
Passport, please. Where are you going?
To Leipzig.
For long?
Several days.
Professor Bauer has come. Number 112. Thank you. You're welcome. Have a pleasant trip. (107). Thank you. Have a nice trip.
Thank you.
What is in the bag there?
Some newspapers.
Did you show them to the custom officials?
No.
Do you need them anymore?
No. Would you like to have them?
Yes. Thank you.
I speak English.
Good. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to get some carbazone.
I can't sell it to you without a prescription.
Do you know a doctor that I could call and get one?
Yes, but the doctors don't have office hours until 11:30. Where are you staying?
At the Astoria Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Mannheim? Dr. Klönzel? Dr. Streukreutenhauser or Dr. Salzer? They are both close by.
Dr. What is the other name?
Dr. Salzer.
Salzer, I can say that. What's his address?
138 Karl-Marx-Straße.
Thank you. 138.
Yes.
Right.
Bitte put me through to Major Windisch.
Marian, bring in the tea if it's ready. Thank you. Now, my dear Salzer, you haven't been really frank with me concerning the good Dr. Kroshenko.
But...
Milk?
Please.
Sugar?
Yes. But I've been completely frank with you.
Oh, you have, huh? Really frank? Some tea? I dislike immensely having to make anyone scream. Taking an eye out is so disagreeable. I fear it would be quite painful.
What seems to be the trouble?
I've had an intestinal infection, and I need a prescription from the doctor.
Oh, in that case, you'll have to come back. The doctor isn't in today.
Well, I can come back whenever you say.
Shall we make an appointment?
Yes.
Tomorrow, 6:15. Is that all right with you?
Certainly, that's fine.
What is your name, please?
Bauer. Professor James Bauer.
Where are you staying?
The Hotel Astoria. It's a shame you're not Dr. Salzer. Well,
I'm sorry. I'm Frieda Hoffman, his nurse. Do you mind if we make a couple of tests? It might save time for the doctor tomorrow.
no, fine.
Come with me.
You don't suppose that he would be in later this afternoon?
Oh, I doubt it. He's on an official appointment. You know when you get in, but you don't know when you get out.
You had a good day, Professor?
Pretty good, yes. Can you reserve for me a room in Dresden for tomorrow night?
Yes, I'm sure.
No mail, huh?
Just a message from Mr. Heinzmann. He is the new public relations counselor for the city. He would like to welcome you to Leipzig. His office is in this hotel, room 511.
Fine. Would you see that this is taken up to my room?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Be welcome.
Professor Bauer.
Hello. Professor Bauer. I'm very, very pleased to meet you. It is indeed an honor for the city of Leipzig to welcome a guest like you.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to sit down, Make yourself comfortable. I believe Well, this is not your first trip here.
No, I've been here several times. But never before has a public relations man wanted to meet me. Is this some special kind of occasion?
Oh, with someone of your quality, it is always a special occasion. But I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
I feel fine.
You went to a pharmacy today and you saw a doctor.
For a public relations man, you certainly have a great deal of information at your fingertips.
You chose your physician very well. Dr. Seltzer has an excellent reputation. And I am sure that had he been in, he would have more than taken care of your needs.
I'm glad to hear that. A pharmacist recommended him.
I see.
You're not a public relations man, are you?
I am here to make your stay in Leipzig as pleasant as possible.
I would guess that you're a representative of state security, or whatever they're calling it nowadays.
You're very perceptive and very quick. So perceptive and so quick that I think we can agree right away that you're a spy.
I don't think we could agree on that at all.
I didn't mean to upset you.
I'm not upset.
Now, let's try and understand each other, shall we? You are a spy. An amateur spy. But then I'm only an amateur investigator. I'm not a representative of state security. And by the way, they still call it that nowadays. I'm a scientist my own way. I work on various commissions. I was a physics major, so I know your work. And my father was a scientist.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Franz Heinzmann worked with Klaus Fuchs.
He had some influence on your work?
He certainly had. His work on quantum mechanics has had great influence on every physicist working today.
Your whole life has been science, hasn't it?
I guess so. Not much time for very much else.
Like my father. No personal life, no time for your family. You're a dedicated man. Successful. That's to be envied. Now tell me, Professor, what do you know about Vladimir Grushenko?
Grushenko? Vladimir Grushenko, 47, a physicist, born in Vladivostok, Russia, the author of 5 books, translated by the Right Honorable James Bauer.
Come on, come on. I don't want to sit around here play cat and mouse with you. This could become a serious matter. Right now it's nothing, it's easy. All you have to do is tell me where Grushenko is. Then you continue your vacation and I get back to my work.
I came to East Germany to see the restoration work being done at the Dresden Museum.
You're a stubborn man, huh?
May I leave now?
Yes, certainly. But I suggest you give me the pleasure of another meeting tomorrow. And eventually, Professor, you will tell me where Grushenko is.
Eventually, Herr Heinzmann, you'll tell me why I should know where he is. Century.
The 18th century German, yes. And here, you can see a Greco fake, also with the painting underneath, where we clean the head out. You can see it on X-ray, which we made over here, where you can see the whole figure. Up there, the head, which you can see in the painting. And this painting here, the same case again, where we clean the eyes out and both hands. Now I can show you another painting, please. This is a damaged painting by Vassal. That's what I can show you today. The Chancellor will see you tomorrow.
Fine. I must say, you're a lucky man to be able to look at those paintings every day.
Do you like Tiepolo, Professor?
Somehow, I don't think of Tiepolo. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Professor.
See you tomorrow?
Yes.
Good.
I see you're not late for your appointment.
I'm a little early, in fact. Yes. Is he in today?
Yes, just a minute. Professor Bauer is here.
Yes.
The doctor will see you now.
Come in, please. Good afternoon, Professor Bauer. Oh, Frida, would you please bring in Professor Bauer's tests? Please sit down. Thank you.
I understand that you need a prescription, Phil.
Yes, of Carbazole.
These are all normal. You probably only need a little rest. Have you been doing a lot of traveling?
Yes, I have, quite a bit.
That explains it, James.
Do not talk. This office is most likely being monitored. I was arrested yesterday. This makes it extremely difficult for me to arrange your meeting with Krushenko. We must not see each other again. So please contact one of the nurses here at the office, and I'll get in touch with you through them.
Is that the best you can do? The place is still filthy. They are very quiet. He's probably giving him the microfilm now.
Aren't there other people in his office?
Yes, Ingrid Weiss and Frida Hoffmann, nurses. But they are more than likely involved in this too.
How about his patients? Are all of his patients involved in this too? Major, you seem to suffer from a disease I can only call espionitis.
I am not so educated as you. I wasn't fortunate enough to have been born the son of a great scientist, but I know my work. I'm a good officer.
Major, listen. You might miss something important over there.
Please hold this for Mrs. Tischendorf. She'll pick it up soon.
Mm-hmm. 138, please. Oh, Professor Bauer, I'm terribly sorry, but your room has been reserved for somebody else from the Opticians Congress. We had to move you to the second floor, room 234.
That's not important, so long as it has a bath.
Yes, sir.
Well, were you able to get that room for me in Dresden?
Yes, at the Planetarium Hotel. Please show Professor Bauer to room 234 right away.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Start that. Hello.
Room service?
Hello. Give me the concierge right away.
This is room service. Can I help you?
I'm not hungry. Would you connect me with the concierge? Yes. Send up my key right away.
I'll have the concierge call you as soon as he comes in, sir. May I serve you dinner while you're waiting?
No. Find the concierge, send him upstairs. Aber schnell, nicht? Good.
Professor Bauer? Professor Bauer? Professor Bauer? We are ready for your appointment with Dr. Salzer. Professor Bauer? Professor Bauer? We are ready for your appointment with Dr. Salzer. Professor Bauer? Professor Bauer!
Don't worry, it's nothing. Just a psychological treatment. You must not be afraid.
Do you have a match?
One word of advice. Try to stay away from the silver ray. It can do serious damage to the brain.
Do you have a match?
Do you have any money?
There is a tendency to believe that all Russians who go to the West are heroes, and all Americans who go to the East are traitors.
Generally, those who go to the West discover a way of resolving their personal problems, an alternative between suicide and neurasthenia.
You can't make the schizophrenic out of me. At least not today, or tonight, or whatever time it is. I can distinguish between the real thing and not the real thing. So far.
Peter, is used to detach people from reality, make them more pliant.
It's outrageous. Besides, you won't accomplish that with Bauer.
No, you do not understand, Peter. By scientifically controlling what happens in that room, we can make anyone doubt his own senses. Now, some cases take longer than others, sometimes months.
Months? But you can't leave.
Can't?
I know Bauer. He won't break. Look, he doesn't have the microfilm on him, and it's not in his room. That proves that he hasn't made contact with Grushenko yet. And the room is not the way to get the microfilm.
You do not like the way the police is handling the case, huh?
Not at all.
And what do you suggest?
If you sent me here to get the microfilm, then please let me handle it my own way.
Give you carte blanche?
Yes. Bauer and I have very much in common. There's an affinity of our characters beyond our scientific background. I think I can get it for you.
Much in common. Affinity of characters. You are still enamored of the West, eh, Peter?
In a way.
Well, I think a meeting of the minds is good. As a matter of fact, we have just made arrangements to meet with the Americans.
Where's the meeting?
At Warsaw. The Russians, it appears, are willing to declassify and exchange certain scientific information. You know, we may receive at Warsaw exactly what we sent Bauer into East Germany to get.
Why shouldn't we take him out?
Oh, no, not yet. The meeting might not be successful. Anyway, who knows what Grushenko really has to peddle?
But Bauer is traveling on an official visa. He's too important a person. They would never try anything on him.
What really concerns me is why has Orlovsky gone to Leipzig? You know, that one never goes anywhere without a good reason. And Grushenko, that's not a good enough reason.
Peter, from now on I shall be watching you very closely.
I'll try not to disappoint you.
Nothing you do should disappoint me, Peter. Nothing. Very good.
Professor Bauer, Mr. Heinzmann wants to see you now.
What?
Mr. Heinzmann wants to see you now.
Oh, bless his little heart. Okay, let's go.
How are you this morning?
Were you the entertainment director of...
I see you kept your sense of humor.
I'm not too sure that I have.
I don't want you looking like that. I want to clean up. Your things are in the bathroom. Whenever you're ready, we'll have lunch.
I'll eat now, if I may.
All right. Want some vodka?
Yes. What did you expect to accomplish, keeping me in that room?
They had hoped that after having been in that room, you would break and lead them to Grushenko.
Ha!
I like that. Now they'll have to change their methods when dealing with a man of your caliber.
Why they, not we?
It was they who put you in the room.
Oh, I see. And you took me out.
Professor, it was you who started all this, not me. If you hadn't corrected the errors in Grushenko's books, they wouldn't have sent either of us here.
Nobody sent me here.
Professor, were you to leave if I told you that Grushenko was dead? He is dead. Shot, trying to escape.
Well, I guess the case is closed. Your job is finished.
No. He was shot only after he had given the microfilm to his contact. But your job is finished. Your government isn't going to use you as a messenger boy. Any agent can deliver the microfilm. You were sent, obviously, because Groshenko wanted to talk to you. So now you are free to go. You can leave today if you want.
No. I have a few more days to spend in Leipzig.
Even after last night's experience, you still want to stay with us?
I didn't come all this way to see the entertainment in room 234.
Kommen Sie rein. That's strange. Your visa has expired.
Expired? I had a visa for 15 days.
3 days.
I saw it. Let me see. What is... Has somebody been tampering with this visa? I don't know. You look.
Don't understand a word. Erika!
First I can go, now I can't. What is this?
Calm down. I'll have it fixed.
Erika!
You tell Major Windisch. Professor Bauer is free to move about the town. He is to be treated as my guest and is entitled to long-distance calls even outside the Republic, right? You do it. Does that convince you?
Of what? Groshenko is dead.
Yes.
What's going on here? Who gave the order for this? Ever heard of manners? What did they detain you for? Fine. Out of here!
Professor Orlovsky, then. I thought you were going to let me handle this my own way.
The visa cancellation.
Yes.
A precautionary measure. As long as we do not have the microfilm, we want to keep Professor Bauer in this country legally. But how does that interfere with you?
I told him I would have it fixed.
Good. That is what I thought you'd do.
What do you mean, that is what you thought I would do?
Peter, have you any idea why you were selected for this assignment?
Of course, to protect the two scientists, Groshenko and Bauer, from the police, to pick up the microfilm without any incident.
No. Listen. We knew that Groshenko was coming to Leipzig, yes? Now, We also knew that he would insist on meeting Professor Bauer here. Now, why do you think we made it so easy for him to get this far? Huh? We wanted him to lure Professor Bauer into East Germany and place him in a vulnerable position.
You mean you could have stopped Groshenko at Kiev?
But of course.
Then he needn't have been killed.
Let us say Groshenko outlived his usefulness.
Outlived his usefulness? But what kind of an affair is this?
Peter, you were selected for this assignment out of all the candidates because you were the one who most probably could have befriended Professor Bauer. Now, I've been watching both of you for a long time. You in Kiev and even before that, and Bauer since he was a student at the MIT.
You want Bauer to defect, right? And you want me to try and... Forget about it. Bauer will never defect. Never.
I only want you to be his friend.
What kind of a man do you take me for? To ask me to do such a dirty job? To befriend a man and then betray him?
Would you rather betray your country? Betray your beliefs?
Stop this nonsense. You know where I stand. I promised you your microfilm, and that's it. This new request is absolutely out.
I am not asking you to do this, Peter. Neither am I waiting for your answer. Would you rather spend the rest of your life as a supervisor of some hydroelectric plant in Brazzaville or Panipat? No, not a man of your ability. You have great potential, Peter. Your future as a research scientist can now be realized.
It's such a terrible thing to ask of someone.
You will do it, Peter.
I can't think of anything so...
You are a scientist today because of me, of the state that educated you, and your father. There will be no more discussion. You will do what is expected of you, and you will do it well. Later you will have your rewards.
Hello, Fräulein Hoffmann? This is Professor Bauer.
Good evening, Professor. How are you feeling?
Fine. A little lonely, I guess.
Would you like to go to a concert tonight?
You mean you're taking me? I'd love that.
All right, so we'll meet on the steps of the opera at 8:15. Oh, I might be a little late. I still have a lot of filing to do tonight.
That's all right. I'll be there waiting.
See you tonight.
Right.
Professor Bauer.
Good evening.
What a pleasant surprise to meet you here. Miss Hoffman?
Hello.
You two know each other?
No. But anyone in my position, Professor, would recognize an associate of Dr. Salz's. Would you both give me the pleasure of joining me for dinner tonight?
We can. Perhaps some other time.
I'm sorry. Good night, then. Miss Hoffman?
Good night.
Would you like to eat something?
Yes, but all the restaurants are closed now. I have some goulash at home. Here we are.
nice,
It's small.
but friendly.
This is Professor Bauer, Violetta,
Good evening.
and Heidi.
How do you do?
The goulash is waiting.
You'll
find it on the stove.
Thank you very much. You're so kind. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. We share the apartment. Beer or wine?
Beer.
My refrigerator. Now, where did I put the bottle opener?
I found it.
Ah.
Thank you.
Oh, it's cold in here. Are you cold?
No.
They're coming up. You've been followed. Listen, they must think nothing of this. We are two people who want to be alone together.
Yes.
And you, take off your jacket. Everything. Quick. Hurry.
Yes.
Is Professor Bauer here?
Yes?
Uh-huh. I'm sorry to disturb you this late at night, Professor. But Herr Heinzmann wants to see you immediately.
I'll be right there.
Now?
Yes, right now. I think, Professor, it's better you put your shoes on. It's very cold outside.
Where is he?
Good evening.
Why have I been brought down here?
Sit down.
Why am I here?
Thank you, Major. That's all for tonight. You want some coffee or brandy or something?
Why was I dragged out in the middle of the night?
Miss Hoffman is an interesting woman, isn't she? You find her attractive?
Oh, you wish to talk about Frieda Hoffman? You told me today that I was free to move about the city. Is Frieda Hoffman's apartment off limits?
Miss Hoffman is free to entertain whoever she pleases. That you chose her, I find educating.
I'm glad. You've got me here. What for?
To ask you a question.
What?
Professor, tell me, what is it that makes a man do something he knows he shouldn't do? What makes him become a tool and permit himself to do things that go against his moral judgment? Tell me, Professor, tell me, why did you permit yourself to be used?
Yes, why did I? Is there anything else? Good.
However, Heinzmann is probably caught up in something he can't control, the same as I am.
Do we have to speak about Heinzmann?
No. Will I be able to see Dr. Salzer?
Tonight at 8:30.
Good.
You're to meet him at a synagogue.
Synagogue.
Yes. Ingrid, the other nurse, will take you because I'm watched all the time.
What are you doing the rest of the day?
Sunday is a free day even in East Germany.
Oh, then we'll have to spend it together.
Good evening.
Hello.
Bit crowded here. Let's go to my room. Hello. Hello.
Oh.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Come on, Tommy. Come on, we've got to go.
Goodbye.
No.
Good evening.
Coming.
Who smuggled this in for you?
A Hungarian minister gave it to me.
What are you reading?
Insisting. No.
Let me see.
No, no, no.
Come on, let me see.
No.
Very revealing to know what books one takes to bed with one. Now. Aha. Scandalous. Siberia with you. Now I know everything about you.
What can I do?
No more mystery.
I feel naked.
It's a shame.
And what do you take to bed?
How do you mean? Oh, books. Einstein, Schopenhauer, stuff like that.
Dostoevsky,
Yeah, Dostoevsky.
Kafka.
Kafka, of course.
You're too serious, Mr. Bauer.
Everyone has their faults.
Yes, everyone.
The whole world.
I feel like crying.
I'm not going to stop you.
And laughing.
Give me a few seconds. Then pull the switch. Count to 30. That should give me enough time. Then pull the switch back. I'll be back soon.
At last. Professor Bauer, here's your microfilm. It's in this pencil. I'm sorry, but we couldn't move any sooner.
They killed Grushenko, didn't they?
Yes, but we reached 10 minutes before they did. We shouldn't stay here any longer. They might discover you're not at Frida's. Can you find your bag?
I'm sure.
Ingrid and I will go out the back way. Goodbye, Professor.
Goodbye. Thank you.
And good luck.
Strange to see you here.
I could say the same. I guess because I didn't know you were Jewish.
My father was, didn't you know? But I didn't realize that you were Jewish either.
Oh, you didn't?
Is that the only reason for your coming here?
Good night, Herr Heinzmann.
Tell me, is that assault all right?
Yes, he's fine. Why didn't Heinzmann do anything?
He couldn't afford to have anyone know that he's a Jew. You know, here they're hardcore communists, and they're fundamentally anti-Semitic.
It's probably the first time in Germany somebody was saved by pretending that he was a Jew.
Are you Frieda Hoffmann?
Yes?
Have you seen Dr. Sulzer today?
No, not today.
Will you come with me?
What for?
Please, come along. This way. Here.
Miss Hoffmann!
Let me alone.
Miss Hoffmann!
Wer ist hier der Verantwortliche? Wo ist Salzer?
Speak English, please. I want to see him in my office right away. I want to ask him a few questions.
He's dead.
Bring all of his belongings, everything on him. Speak to you later, Peter.
What's wrong? Dr. Sulzer is dead. Call Tommy.
Why, Tommy?
Call Tommy.
Well,
morning.
Good morning. Excuse me. I'm trying to find... You wouldn't happen to have a hammer on you, would you?
What?
A hammer. Sit. Sit. You came because you still think I'm a spy, huh?
I am not.
This is what you came for? Well, it's useless. We wouldn't have given Groshenko a nickel for it. 3 years ago, it might have been new information. Now, do you think you could arrange it so I get my passport?
You realize that you could be thrown in jail for 15 years or more right now for having this? The charge would be espionage.
Are they going to charge you with anything? For killing one of your scientists?
I haven't killed anyone. Thought you understood that I was not a policeman.
Damn it, Heinzman. You knew what Groshenko was. You knew his works. You knew they were going to kill him.
Groshenko was nothing.
Was nothing?
He was a mediocre man.
Maybe you forget. I translated his books.
His books are books written for him by a team of associates at Kiev University. Groshenko was an opportunist. He took advantage of situations like you correcting his errors to get to the top. He was a dishonest man.
You were in Kiev?
Yes.
And you helped him write his books?
Yes. You see, Professor, the good life in Russia was about to come to an end for Mr. Groshenko. He had been found out for what he was. So he microfilmed information, any information, to sell to the West. He was going to exploit the West the same way he exploited his own people.
I must say, he becomes quite an uninteresting character.
Yes. And now you and I become interesting.
You and I?
The two of us made Groshenko. I as a student, doing most of his work, and you by correcting his errors and giving him the esteem of the whole scientific community. That's a bond between us.
You weren't really interested in the film, were you? You were interested in something else. Me. Am I right?
Professor, you yourself wrote in an article printed in the Humanities that science had no politics, that scientists weren't nationalists.
I wrote that they shouldn't be.
Then you shouldn't be a nationalist. Professor, the future is right here.
I want my passport.
Facilities, funds, the freedom to do what you want. We could work together.
I have no intention of being manipulated.
I haven't been manipulating you. We have both been manipulated by our governments. They are the manipulators. We are the manipulated. Today, right now, the representatives of your government and the representatives of the Soviet Union are meeting in Warsaw. They are pouring each other vodkas. They are telling each other stories, declassifying and exchanging scientific information of far greater value than this. We have both been used for nothing, for stupidity.
Now it's all over. You have the film, and I have my passport.
If you were to stay, work here, something good might still come out of all this. You're not a patriot. That couldn't be the reason.
All I want is my passport.
It's right here.
Thank you.
One thing. They have stamped the visa only for tomorrow, so please don't try to leave before then. As a matter of fact, it might be helpful if I were to drive with you to Berlin and see you through the border.
It might be.
I'll call you tomorrow.
All right.
Imagine me waving goodbye to you at Checkpoint Charlie. I'm sorry we had to meet under these circumstances. Cheerio.
So long.
Jim, I know it's dangerous for both of us. But if you don't go tonight, you'll never get out.
I guess I better give up the idea of going out legally.
Dr. Sulzer was shot to death in the streets this morning. And Heinzman was there. First it was Groshenko, then Sulzer. You can't trust Heinzman.
Why did Heinzman give me back my passport?
And why was it stamped for tomorrow? Why? What difference would it make to them? Unless they want to arrest you tonight.
He could have arrested me this afternoon, any time he chose.
Well, Jim, suppose Heinzman wants to be your friend. He doesn't run things. Someone higher up could change everything. This morning, he wasn't alone. There was a Russian with him. And he was telling everybody what to do.
A Russian?
Tommy, can you do me a real favor?
Of course I will.
Can you come with me this minute?
This minute? I still have work to do.
We've got a 4 hours drive to the control point at Kochen. Then you have to hide in the back of the truck. We're going through the mountain.
What about you? Getting back?
Well, if you get through, I'll get back somehow.
Your pass, please, Fräulein. But this is for a man.
Yes, it was issued to a friend. He was supposed to deliver this cake to the commandant in Magdeburg this evening.
Come in the checkpoint. This way.
Good evening.
Good evening. What is it, Kamerad?
She's driving with the pass of a friend.
All by herself?
Yes.
You'd better speak to headquarters. What is in the box?
Read it yourself, comrade.
To the Senior Commandant of the 3rd Division, PA 47. The Commandant lives pretty well, doesn't he?
Guard post 27A calling. There's a young lady here that says she's supposed to deliver a cake to the Commandant in Magdeburg. Commandant Sven?
Yes.
From Leipzig?
Mm-hmm.
She's traveling on a pass made out to a friend of hers. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is it all right?
Yes, I'll just go have a quick look at the inside of her truck. Come on, the Commandant is waiting for his cake.
There's nothing inside.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Thanks to your brilliant handling of the situation, we will now have a dead American scientist on our hands, killed at the border. Здравствуйте, товарищ.
We have to stop him.
Stop him. He's heading out of here illegally. Ask the major. If he tries to get across the border, he is dead. Thank you very much, Peter.
Get me a chart.
One moment. Get the large map of Magdeburg.
Any traces of the two of them yet?
Somebody resembling the description of Frieda Hoffmann passed by a police barrier going toward Bitterfeld.
Bitterfeld. It's in the direction of the river, isn't it?
Yes. Where's he going?
Good morning, Mr. Ritter.
Good morning. Frida, you can't stay here. You'll have to go back. Otherwise, your pass is going to expire.
Yes, I know. It's all right. I have to leave.
Hello.
How far are we from the border?
50 kilometers by the Autobahn, which is there. But you can't take it. It's heavily patrolled.
Ah.
You'd better change before the workers come. Try one of these. Then we're going to have some soup.
How will I leave from here?
Only at night. Either tonight or tomorrow. Look, it's full of soldiers. It's fine.
It fits.
Yeah. Come on. Sit down.
Tell me, who are these people?
They work on a collective farm across the river.
Couldn't I leave with them?
You would be taking a chance because there's a control point on the other side.
The elder.
Yeah. But if you want to go with them, remember, there's a small canal and a lock. You pass that, go downstream about 60 kilometers. And that's the border. You want to take that chance?
Yes.
All right. Take my bicycle there. But leave only when they leave. Hello, Helmut.
Hello, Ernst.
What are you doing here?
Looking for an American agent.
Ah, an American. How about a glass of beer?
Sounds good.
It'll probably turn out like that time 2 years ago. You weren't here yet then. One of them was still here. Anyway, the agents crossing the river, and it was Schultz's Peak. he'd fallen in the river instead of the alarm wires.
Hey, kids, come get your dog.
Mr. Heinzmann.
Yes.
We've been expecting you.
Have you had any reports about that American?
Somebody stole a boat.
A boat, you say?
Yes, sir.
If he took the boat, how much time would he need to get to the border with the current?
If he is just drifting downstream, he'd need about 2 hours from the time he starts.
Could we beat him there by car?
It'll take us half an hour.
Good. You show me the way.
What? A half hour ago, you say? This may be him now. Are you Mr. Heinzmann?
Yes, I am. Why?
I hope it's not your friend.
What happened?
Somebody stole a boat about 30 kilometers downstream.
And?
Thank you. I'll call you back. He's drifting right into the minefield there. We got to stop him.
Is the river entirely full of mines?
Yes, the whole left bank.
Sweep the river with the searchlights. Cease fire! I say hold your fire!
You've gone out of your mind!
I you to shoot.
Who said you could give orders here?
You will do everything exactly as I say.
Listen, Bauer. It's me, Heinzmann. The river ahead of you is mined. The left bank is completely mined. To the right. Bauer, believe me, please. Come towards me.
Bauer! Bauer, the mines! Leave the boat! Jump! There he is!
sit down. Peter, I cannot tell you how happy I am that you saved his life. I myself could not have planned a better ending for Professor Bauer's trip. Frieda's concern for him made him completely illogical, and so he ran. Your concern got him safely across the border. Marvelous. Peter, I am going to send you to America.
America?
Yes, America.
You're joking.
Unfortunately for you, Peter, we are not quite through with Professor Bauer. Not yet.
I don't understand at all.
Peter, your friendship with Professor Bauer, saving his life, is going to be very good for us. Now, my plan, it's a very simple plan. You will go to America in a few weeks, as long as it takes for your wounds to heal.
Wounds?
Peter, you are about to become a hero. A man who will be able to do and have anything he wants. Now, you will go to America. You will get in touch with Professor Bauer. And he will tell you everything we want to know.
I see. I see.
You saved his life, yes? You helped him when he was here, yeah? You befriended him. So he will tell you, show you, and give you everything.
Never.
Oh, yes, he will. Because you will have proof that you defected from the East, so that you could be with him and work with him. Come with me. You will arrive covered with bullet wounds which you will have received fleeing to the West.
But listen,
using scientific methods, we will shoot you harmlessly, so that you will appear to Professor Bauer as Peter Heinzmann, the defector.
Your appointment with the American consulate has been changed to 11:30. I'll drop you off at the taxi stand if you like. You do understand, of course, this is probably just the beginning of what will be months of investigations, clearances.
Yes, and the only clearance I'll probably get is to teach German to some high school students in the Middle West.
Don't worry. After all, we always need good minds. You'll get clearance.
You really think I'll get clearance enough to do research?
Let's get you to America first. Then we'll worry about that.
See you this evening?
7:30.
Thanks again.
Goodbye.
Excuse me.
Don't move him. Don't move him! Look out!
Perhaps it's better this way. What did he mean, it's better this way?